Now, from Wish TV, this is The Zone Extra, presented by Franciscan Health Sports Medicine. Coming up tonight, the busy winter sports calendar rolls across central Indiana. In the Coach's Corner, meet the man who just led his Center Grove basketball team to a county championship. Plus, our athlete of the week is one of the top high school wrestlers in the state.
I've been working this whole offseason and this season just to, get that one step higher.
We're throwing it down on an all-new Zone Extra right now.
Good evening and welcome to the Zone Extra, everyone. I'm Angela Morian. What a great week of high school sports action with basketball, wrestling, and so much more. We're going to talk about it all tonight. Starting with the Coach's Corner. The Trojans are once again Johnson County champions. Center Grove boys basketball coach Zach Hahn joins me in studio to talk the Trojans' success. Plus, our athlete of the week was a state runner-up as a freshman last year and one of Indiana's best wrestlers this season. Meet Avon sophomore Nate Ryu. And we go to the West Lafayette to check in with Boilers sophomore and former Indiana Mr. Basketball from Westfield, Braden Smith. Now let's take a look at this week in high school sports. Last Friday was full of big-time basketball matchups. At Fishers, the top-ranked Fishers Tigers hosted conference rival Brownsburg. The visiting Dogs played tough, but Fishers remained unbeaten with a 15-point victory. Also in the Hoosier Crossroads, third-ranked Westfield and Hamilton Southeastern squared off. The Rocks rolled to their 10th straight win and open the season, taking it by 15. Meanwhile, 3A number 6 Guerin Catholic beat out Covenant Christian by 10 for a Circle City Conference victory. Number 2 Lawrence North and Franklin Central battled for the Marion County Championship Saturday. Fourth quarter, Lawrence North's Xavier Robinson with a steal. Check out the one-handed slam on the other end. Wildcats up 13. Later, Kobe Bowles, you are cleared for takeoff. Lots of dunks in this one. That went all over social media. Ellen leading comfortably. Under a minute to play, Bowles to Kai McGrew for another Lawrence North slam. Take a bow on the county title. Wildcats win 78-53.
It feels good to be king of the county. This is my first time ever achieving something like this at Lawrence North. Last time we won it, I was in middle school. It feels good to be the king of the county again.
I think they have a will to win. I think we have proven both defensively and offensively making enough smart plays, defensively locking in, communicating with each other, playing connected defense. These guys want to win.
Now let's take a look at this week's Class 4A boys basketball poll. A lot of familiar teams right there. Number 1, as they have been all season long, the Fishers Tigers, plus Lawrence North, Westfield, Noblesville, and Lake Central rounding out the top 5. Meanwhile, down at Center Grove, the Trojans hosted Whiteland for the Johnson County Tournament Championship. Senior Joey Smits leads the Trojans with 21 points to help Center Grove win back-to-back county titles, a huge 25-point win. More on this game coming up in a couple minutes in our Coach's Corner. To girls basketball, it's hard to believe the end of the regular season is already in sight. In fact, teams will learn their postseason paths with a sectional draw taking place Sunday night. The state tournament begins January 30th. Last Friday night was the girls' city championship between Bishop Chatard and Cathedral. Third quarter, Alex Kendall does a spin move. Whoop! Sinks the basket. What a play for the Trojans. This game would end up needing overtime. Cathedral down 1 under 30 seconds left. Irish get the ball. Taylor Lewis lays it in to take the lead. Chatard down 2 with 4 seconds left. Olivia Berzai for 3 from the buzzer. At the buzzer, rather. It's good. Chatard wins the city championship in dramatic fashion. Storm that court, 45-44, the final. Last Thursday was rivalry night as number 2 Lawrence Central hosted number 8 Lawrence North. Pick it up in the 4th. LN down 2. Kiki Butler open in the corner. Wildcats take the lead. 90 seconds left. LC down a point. Great cut by Anaya McKenzie, who lays it in to give her team the lead for good. Bears win the close one, 54-51, the final. Let's see the top 5 girls basketball rankings in Class 4A. Hamilton Southeastern up on top with Lawrence Central, the Bears in at number 2. Columbia City, Center Grove, and Fort Wayne Snyder rounding out the top 5. I know it's cold outside, but let's talk some swimming because that's still happening. The end of the regular season is quickly approaching. The girls tournament begins with sectionals 2 weeks from tonight on February 1st. The Carmel Greyhounds will try to defend both girls and boys team championships. Meanwhile, in girls wrestling, last Friday was the state finals at Kokomo. New Haven won the team championship with Southport and Indian Creek coming in 2nd and 3rd. A number of Central Indiana wrestlers won state titles like Kendall Moe of Hamilton Heights at 100 pounds, Noblesville's Kyra Tomlinson at 130, and Jaya O'Neill of Brownsburg at 190. Maddie Marsh of Pendleton Heights caps off an unbeaten season at 135, as does Southport's Evelyn Mosconi at 170. Congrats to all on a great season. Time for a break, but we have much more ahead here on the Zone Extra. Up next, it's the Coach's Corner. There he is. He's won more games than anybody in program history, and his Trojans are county champs. Center Grove boys basketball coach Zach Hahn is here in studio. And still ahead, he was a state runner-up on the mat last year and is shining again this season. We'll introduce you to our Athlete of the Week from Avon High School.
This is the Zone Extra, presented by Franciscan Health Sports Medicine. This is the Zone Extra Coach's Corner.
Welcome back to the Zone Extra. Time now for our Coach's Corner. Last weekend, his team won its 2nd straight Johnson County Championship. Welcome to the Zone. Center Grove head coach Zach Hahn. Coach, thanks so much for joining us here in studio. Yeah. You said you're geeking out a little bit, right? Being on TV.
This is really cool. This is what I thought it would envisioned, and it's just so, the energy's great. I love it.
Yeah, we like to bring some energy, especially to our sports shows. You're bringing energy. Your Trojans are bringing energy, especially to the Johnson County tournament. You beat out Whiteland to be back-to-back champs. Coach, what was the key factor in getting that championship?
I think just the rivalries within the county. Everybody's really good this year. There weren't really any down teams, so I think a lot of people, we struggled early in the year, and probably people didn't think we were going to win it. So I think that extra chip on our shoulder, the motivation for our players, made them hungry to try and go out and accomplish back-to-back, which isn't easy to do.
You've said you changed your offense from the beginning of the year to something completely different. What did you change?
I sometimes, and coaches don't want to admit this in public, but coaches screw up too. It's not just kids. And we thought we were going to run a certain style of offense that met the personnel that we have. It didn't work out that way, so through 6 games, the players came and talked to us and said, hey, let's go back to what we did last year. We were really successful in it. We didn't necessarily think it would fit what we have, but it's opened up the offense completely for our team. And I think we're scoring 75 a game for the last 6 or 7 games now. And it's just made us a much different team offensively.
How does this new style, or I guess the old style of offense, make you a threat moving forward through the season?
Yeah, we have so many scoring options. We've had 7 different guys score 14 plus points in a game.
Wow.
And then we have a couple guys that have been really consistent. We have a new kid this year down low, Mike Ephraim, that's 6'10", that obviously causes issues for a lot of people. And then we've got a couple 6'7" guys around him, but our backcourt has been our core guys for the last 2 years, in Jalen Bundy and Joey Smits, and they just bring so much to the table with experience. 3-year varsity players.
Right. Joey Smits, he leads your team with over 20 points a game. What intangibles does he bring that doesn't show up on the stat sheet to help your Trojans get to this 9-4 record this way through the season?
Well, I think Joey's a relentless worker, and when you deserve success through the work ethic that you put in, you go out and you play with this kind of confidence. And lately, he's been as hot as I've ever seen anybody. He's shooting close to 60% from 3 on the season, not just in one game. This is on the season, 60%. So he's got a flamethrower going right now. And it's fun because guys are looking for him, and he's just playing within himself. You're not going to see him go out and force it and try and score 40. He's just like the semifinal game, he had 10. The championship, he had 21. The game before that, he had 39. And it's all within the flow of the offense, which speaks volumes to the unselfishness of our team this year.
When you look at this team, you've coached at Center Grove 10 years. How does this team compare to all the other teams that you've coached?
Very different, very different. We have a lot of experience, a lot of size. You know, we have 3 or 4 guys that have 7-foot wingspans. In high school, that's different. But I do think that we have a bunch of basketball junkies that love the game. They're basketball. A lot of them are basketball-only kids, which hasn't always been the case, and that gives us a different skill level and commitment level, a level of care maybe that's a little bit greater than if you have some other kids involved. So this group, you know, they're a veteran group that they have goals in mind, and we're trying to do everything we can to get them to reach those goals.
Some goals in mind for the next couple weeks as we look at your upcoming schedule is to get some 5 really tough wins here. Coach, when you look at this schedule, Jeffersonville, Roncalli, Avon, Floyd Central, Jennings County, what stands out to you looking at this graphic that is like, oh no, we got to play them, or oh, we'll have an easy one with these teams?
No, I mean, there's talent. You know, Avon won the Hendricks County tournament. Jeffersonville has 2 or 3 Division I players, and they're going to come up here wanting to send a message to Southern Indiana. Obviously, Jennings County was a semi-state team last year that's really good. Floyd Central's had success in the past. And then Roncalli is always a tough opponent because they're right down the road. So you have that rivalry, and you go play in their new box gym that they pack it in, and their student section's full. And that's the kind of stuff that makes Indiana high school basketball fun.
Coach, I know everyone at home is going to be crazy, feel like they're crazy when I say this because you look so young, but you've been with the Trojans for 10 years, Coach. You got the job at 25, now you're 35. You're the winningest coach in Trojans history, and there's a lot of famous, storied coaches that have coached at Center Grove. What has this year, your 10th anniversary year, been like for you, Coach?
You know, it's special. I think I feel sorry for the players that I had the first couple of years. I've lightened up a little bit in my coaching style. I've learned a great deal. You know, when I'm young and 25, I'm pretty energetic, and I still bring a lot of energy, but I do it in a different way now, and I feel like my staff has evolved. We've improved, changed our philosophies and styles, and, you know, I think that's part of learning. You know, it's part of growth as a coach, and yeah, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful my kids are in the community. They come to the games. My wife's at every game. You know, it's a community atmosphere for us, and that's kind of what makes it special.
No, you're making the Trojans special too, Coach. So many great players that have come through your coaching at Center Grove, and so many more to come. We appreciate you. Zach Hahn from Center Grove joining us here tonight. Thanks so much, Coach.
Thank you.
We have so much more to cover here on the Zone Extra, like our Athlete of the Week. He's one of the top-ranked high school wrestlers in the state. Up next, meet Avon super sophomore Nate Ryu. Plus, we go on campus with Purdue sophomore and former Indiana Mr. Basketball, Braden Smith.
This is the Zone Extra, presented by Franciscan Health Sports Medicine.
Welcome back to the Zone Extra. Our Athlete of the Week from Avon was a state runner-up on the mat last season as a freshman and is one of the top high school wrestlers in Indiana this year. Nate Ryu is the second-ranked wrestler at 113 pounds. Last season, he came up just short of a state title, losing in the championship match. Ryu is one of 5 boys in his family, all of whom wrestle, and says he fell in love with the sport when he was just 3 years old, watching his brother wrestle before he got on the mat himself. Ryu has used last year's state finals loss as motivation during the offseason and throughout his sophomore year as he continues to improve as a wrestler.
I think I've grown the most in just like my mentality on the mat, and I feel like last year I wasn't like as like sticking with everything. I feel like this year I've done better, like sticking to my plan and just doing it.
He's put a lot of work in the off season since last year's state tournament. You know, state runner-up as a freshman is a pretty big deal. We knew he was a talented kid coming in our program last year, and you know, we're excited. He's invested time in the weight room. And you can just see he's grown as well, mature as well.
I feel like when we're neutral on my feet, I feel like my hand fighting is a lot better than most of the other wrestlers I compete against. I feel like that gives me a better advantage to get into my shots and score more points.
He's a very aggressive attack mindset. He's fun to watch. I think of any sport you're watching, people like to watch people score points, and he's one of those wrestlers. He's just always looking to score points, and it's not really defensive, and you know, that attack mindset, it's fun.
Now that I know, like, especially what high school wrestling feels like, I feel like now I can take that and like try to up it up. Like up it and like up my level to compete still. I've been working this whole off season and this season just to, get that one step higher. So hopefully I've done it enough to get up there.
Next step would be the state title. Good luck to Nate Ryu. Time for a break, but more still to come here on the Zone Extra, including our play of the week. Plus, it's the latest installment of Ask the Commissioner with Paul Neidig of the IHSAA.
This is the Zone Extra, presented by Franciscan Health Sports Medicine.
Welcome back into the Zone Extra. Now it's time to go on campus where we catch up with a former Central Indiana High School athlete as they compete at the collegiate level. This week we head to West Lafayette and the Purdue basketball team. Point guard Braden Smith is enjoying his sophomore season with the second-ranked Boilermakers, currently averaging 12 points and 7 assists per game. Last weekend against Penn State, the former Indiana Mr. Basketball from Westfield only took 5 shots, but tied his season high with 11 assists. He says setting up teammates is something he takes pride in and is always ready to do whatever is necessary for the Boilers to come away with a win.
I just see it more as that's my job, is to get these guys the ball in the right spot and make their lives easier. And some nights it doesn't happen and we're not making shots, but when we are hitting shots, it's usually the outcome you get. I just felt like if we got past their little press right there, then able to get in a little scoring zones and just try to get people the ball. And obviously tonight we made some shots, so like I said, it's just helpful for that.
All right, now it's time for Ask the Commissioner. Each week we take one of your questions to IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig and bring you his answer. Here's this week's question. When you're driving around the state, what do you listen to in the car?
Oh my, it's a varied smorgasbord of different types of things. Sometimes I'll do podcasts to catch up on different things that are going around. Other times I'll do audiobooks. I think I'm about 10 behind right now of the audiobooks that I've selected to listen to on the road. And then I love sports talk on Friday night, being able to tune in to different ball games around communities and listen to those different ball games and those broadcasters that are telling the story of their communities through sport. And so I do love tuning into those local radio stations on Friday nights and Saturday nights as I travel the state.
Oh, I love it. I'm a podcast girl myself. Thanks again to the Commissioner for joining us. Here's how you can submit your questions. Send us a tweet using the hashtags ZoneExtra and Ask the Commissioner, and your question could be used in a future show. Now it's time to take a look at our play of the week. Each week we feature one of the top plays from the world of high school sports in Central Indiana. Plus, we want you to get involved, so be sure to send us your submissions on Twitter each week. They could be featured on a future show. Here's the top play this week, Marion County semifinals. Lawrence North's Davion Hampton, the lob between the legs to Xavier Robinson, throwing it down. What a play. We got to see this again. Through the legs. That's like backyard basketball. Number 2 Wildcats are flying high as Marion County champions. Of course, we want to see your best plays each week, so be sure to send them in right here on the Zone Extra. And don't forget to vote for the Zone Basketball Player of the Week. Here's this week's nominees. Michael Ephraim from Center Grove, Keenan Gardner from Fishers, Bryson Cardle of Guerin Catholic, and Kobe Bowles from Lawrence North. Go to wishtv.com. It's open through tomorrow afternoon, and we'll announce the winner on the Zone tomorrow night at 11:08. MyNDTV 23 is your local home for high school sports. Coming up tomorrow night, it's a good one. First-year head coach and former Pike standout Jeff Teague taking his Red Devils on the road for a matchup with Carmel. You can see all the action live on MyNDTV 23 tomorrow night, starting at 7:30. It's a big night of high school basketball action, isn't every week throughout Central Indiana tomorrow. Of course, we'll have you covered with highlights from 10 games, plus all the scores across the area in the Zone tomorrow night, starting at 11:08. Let's take a look at some of the games we'll be covering tomorrow night on the Zone. Lawrence North and North Central, Fishers and Avon, Westfield Brownsburg, Whiteland Franklin, and Guerin Catholic at Verbuff. Great games. We're going to have you covered right here on the Zone. But for now, that's all we have for the Zone Extra. We'll see you next time.